talk about how to configure the Jupyter Notebook and Anaconda environments. Okay, and I assume you already have the Anaconda installed on your laptop or home computer. You probably can run the Anaconda Navigator. You could see this. This is the default screen right here. Okay. We will probably focus on using Jupyter Notebook this semester, and this is the place you can probably launch your Jupyter Notebook. All right, so what I'm going to talk about today is on your laptop, maybe not very important, but if you have to work on the lab computer, you definitely have to create a virtual environment for yourself. But even on your laptop, your personal laptop, creating a virtual environment help you isolate your development environment with a fixed library version. Because this semester we're going to using quite a bit of so-called Python library, especially for machine learning and neural network and statistics and time series study and numerical computing type of library. And these libraries are updated almost bi-weekly or weekly. So, and each version of the library has a slight version of differences. So many times, at least for the semester, you may not wanted to have, because of the library update, and your program no longer work from one day to another. So creating virtual environments, and it is beneficial to have fix your library version so you can assure the program worked before is going to be working right now. All right, so I'm going to see if I can upload one of the things for you. Okay, I'm dropping off just a second. Sorry. I'm uploading this one files to the chat session of this today's meeting called requirements.txt file. Has some of the library we're going to be using for the semester, and I'll show you how to use this particular. So download this file from the chat room and put it on your maybe desktop or somewhere you remember where it is. Okay, please do that. So once we're in the Anaconda Navigator environment, we can file so-called launch the Jupyter Notebook as it is. It will pop up as, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that. Okay, so this is on one of the lab computer I was using this testing this morning, and you can see that Jupyter Notebook is a notebook environment, but especially in the Windows version, this is going to launch on your user directory. So where's your user directory in the window? Let me show you. Bring up a, sorry, bring up a, what's going on? No. Give me a sec. Okay. I cannot access those for some reason. Oh, maybe I should do this. All right. I don't know what's going on. Should be right here. I upload this requirement text over here. Once you launch your Jupyter Notebook, you should probably see the same thing as I do.
Hey, Woo.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, my computer crashed like at 11, so I had to restart it, and now I'm using both computers, and I joined late. What are we doing? Sorry.
We're going to
Do we have to
configure
download Jupyter separately, or is it part of the
No,
Navigator?
it's part of the Anaconda software.
Okay, because I have Anaconda.
Okay. Wait a second. Let me shrink this a little. Probably the zooming of this is not right. Okay, I got it right here. Okay, if you see this, I'm going to, on the Windows environment, and it should be on your user directory already. And these is usually come from. Any question? Okay, usually come from the C drive, the user directory, and your username. That's the directory you are heading out. So so this is the directory in your user directory and what this looks like. I also have a requirement.txt downloaded over here. So make sure that once you start a Jupyter Notebook, it is starting with your own user directory. And you see your desktop, you see your documents, and so on and so forth. So I will probably here, I'm going to new a folder and start doing all these things right here. So let's do this right here. We can new a Python Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so we're going to start right here. And that's our Jupyter Notebook to begin with. The Jupyter Notebooks initially is Untitled as a default. What we do, everybody can see this so far? Zoom in a little bit, as big as I can. So this is, for example, we call it test one, for example, or homework one. In class. All right, so we renamed this Jupyter Notebook. So like a type Python code. Okay, right here. And to execute this, okay, and cell, you can you do shift enter key. Okay, hold on shift and hit enter. It will execute that particular cell. So next we're going to do, for example, 1-on-1. Then we do shift enter. Okay. So this is the way this semester we're going to do our programming. Actually, if you work on the Anaconda, most of the people using teaching you how to use is using the where is it? Keep jumping around. The Spider environment, which is a text editor linked to Anaconda, and you write your program codes right here. You write your program codes right here, and then you execute. Output is on the right-hand side. Okay, and this is the way probably you do for your CIS 209 related class or computer elective, either Java or C. You have these type of text-based development environment. However, this semester, what we do is this is good for research and, you know, want your program running straightforward without too much of interaction. You want your program to be executed efficiently and so on and so forth. But this is a so last century type of programming development methodology. For our teaching, what we use is we're going to using the Jupyter Notebook. The reason is the following. I'm going to show you. For example, here I have a code. I can using the prompt sign to specify like comments and all that. But here, if I want to make it a comment, I want to make it more, okay, so here I say, I want to convert this instead of a Python code, I want to convert the cells to be the Markdown code. And Markdown code is entirely text editing. So we call that or problem number one, for example. And then we say, this is my answer to problem one. Once I do shift enter, it will automatically render as a text. Okay. So, but I can also come back to add mathematical equations. So double click, go back to the editor mode, and I can do, for example, For example, like this. And I would automatically give you a what mathematical equation type is subscript, superscript, and you can type very complicated mathematical equations over here using the LaTeX type of syntax. So it is good for, I will show you example later on. It is good for Jupyter Notebook to be as a so-called report or uh, including the code. So you turn in a formatted report, just like a Microsoft Word. You can do typesetting, heading, and you can do, for example, you do uh, R and you do that and a bullet point, and you can do order to the list as well. So these are very flexible format for you to, and so 1 point, item 1, 2 point, item 2, for example. And then you can see that it becomes the order number list. So these are the things you help you to prepare your report along with your program, or sometimes you can do explanation what your program does, and then you add it together as a fully document. But some of you are going to ask me, oh, what is the benefit of using this in sort of a just a straightforward Python program in the text editor? Once you're developing all these, you can actually download your Jupyter Notebook as HTML format. You can download it as a PDF format. Actually, you can save it as a plain text Python format. Okay, Python format. I have example showing you. This is one of the document we're going to go over in the class. For example, this is a forecasting application. I will give you program. These are the parts you probably done before is in your PPIC for time series data or forecasting data. You have you learn about simple exponential smoothing, simple moving average, okay, and exponential moving average, host method, which is double exponential smoothing with the seasonal adjustment data. Remember these in PPIC, the good old PPIC last semester. And then we can do plotting within the Jupyter Notebook. So all your result, your running result, and your plotting can be in one document, and you can print it as a PDF. You can save it as HTML, demonstrate this document on the web for reporting or weekly meeting or staff meeting to present it to your colleague. Also here I'm demonstrated Houghton's and Winter's method is the so-called triple exponential smoothing with a different type of algorithm. So here I have mathematical equation. You're probably very familiar with this after you pass PPIC, and I presented the mathematical equation explanation, and then we have forecasting data and comparison of all the different algorithms. So it is a so-called programming development environment. It is a very good teaching tool for me to convey all the topic we're going to go over for the semester. So that's the reason why I picked the Jupyter Notebook uh, to be used in this semester. Plus, the Anaconda environment works best in the Macintosh and Linux environment. It's a little bit more complicated to use in the Windows environment. I will do the Anaconda demonstration next week for the Macintosh environment, but today I mainly presented for Windows user because it's a little bit more complicated than. So these are the things we're going to do for this semester. You know, initially we're going to do time series, or later on we're going to do classification and clustering for so-called market segmentation, uh, any kind of market trading strategy type of thing. So let's go back here. So this is the Jupyter Notebook, and all your homework exam will be turned in using Jupyter Notebook format. So today we want to show you how to start with a Jupyter Notebook. One of the easiest way to launch Jupyter Notebook is using the Anaconda navigator. Okay. Launch from here. Okay. So far question? But in order to use this Anaconda environments in the computing lab, also trying to isolate the development environment for yourself, you can see that on the left-hand side screen, I have a so-called an environment situation going on. Let me zoom it in for you. And you click on the environment, you can see that I already create a customized environments in this Anaconda. So the root, which is the basis, what you have is everybody has following the base set of Python library. These are all the library. You can see some of them are upgradable. You can upgrade to the newer version. All you have to do is click on this line and then say apply, and that will be, you can upgrade this, each one of the software. And these are the so-called new environment. I set it in. But today what I'm trying to show you how to create your own environment here. And you can create a new environment right here based on the, just create and give it a name. For example, I'm going to call it my MIS environment. How's that? Okay, you can call any name you want. And using Python 3.8 as a base, so these are the possible version of a Python compiler you're going to use. The version I'm installing is 2020 November version, so it's already by default is Python 3.8. And you can create that in here. It will take a while to create this environment for you. Okay, so it creates this my MIS, and then you can later on, you might taking a business analytic course in business school, and you might want to create a separate environment for that class. So this is something we suggest you to do. Once you create an environment, usually you have a set of possible Python library you want to include under this environment. And you also want to fix the version of those libraries throughout the project. So today we're going to show you how to do that. All right. First, what we do is we go to the start menu for the Windows. You see the Anaconda 64-bit. You open it up. Okay, and I want you to choose so-called Anaconda 3 prompt. I'm going to say something like that. I think I already have one open up over here. I'm going to zoom in, get it larger again. So you can see that this is, once I launch this, is based on the base type of, which is a rule. And then you will have a command prompt. But now we also already have a so-called new environment set up. How to see that? I'm going to issue a command called Conda. Okay, list dash. Oh, don't have any. So here, once I create that environment, and we will activate the environment, so Conda, we're going to activate my MIS ENV. You see that now the prompt is changing from base to the new environment. And I can also deactivate it, called Conda deactivate. Okay, IMIS. Come back to the base environment. So you can switch back and forth which environment you are in by looking at what is the prompt tell you your current environment is. Any question for me so far? All right.
Dr. Wu, how you found that Anaconda PowerShell prompt box that you have open? Is that something that we'll only find on the lab computers, or
It's right here.
How did you get
You
that?
go into the start menu, the Anaconda folder. Underneath here, you have, let me show you, the Anaconda prompt. See this? If you don't have it, you can probably go back here and you can install that called CMD prompt. Install that, will be fine. Make sense? For the base, it's installed by default, but for the new environment you just create, you need to install it. There is a regular command prompt, and there is a so-called PowerShell command prompt. So either way will be, either one of them will be useful. Okay. Question for me.
Yeah, I got a quick question. You mentioned earlier that you would be going over this with the Macintosh version.
Yeah, next week.
Doing like the same.
I don't have the. It's very similar. It
Okay.
just in the Macintosh environment is much more straightforward. And you can open a Macintosh terminal. You just type search terminal, open a Macintosh terminal, do exactly what I do. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. This is the directory. What I have so far is all the file under my user directory called C/users/chw is my username, and you probably have a different username on your own computer for you. And you see that this is the test one in class IPy notebook. This is the new Jupyter Notebook I just created, and I also copy the requirements.txt under my home directory. Okay, so now I'm ready to install let me show you what is the content of this requirement text for now. See if I can zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, and this text file is nothing but some of the library I want to use for this semester, and I want to fix each one of them in these version. Okay. So I don't want to change any version, in case they complicate my development throughout the semester. All right. To begin with, I want to first show you how to install a library or software on Anaconda command prompt. Just type Conda, install. For example, now I want you to install a software called PIP. Basically, it's install a package management software. So we can using the PIP to install other library. Since I already installed it, it shows all the requirement package are already installed. Everybody see this? Everybody see this? Okay. If you understand what I do, I pretty much, when you create an environment, this PIP is automatically installed. I just want to make sure I have the most current version of PIP. And also, I want to update my Anaconda to the newest version for now. So I'm going to do Conda update. Okay, such as all. And please pay attention. For now, I'm still on the base environment. Okay, so I'm going to update my Anaconda to the newest version. It will check online, compare if any new library are available. This Anaconda is up to date. Now I'm going to change to my new environment called my MIS environment. Okay. Actually, new environment. And you can see right now, the environment changed to my MIS. This is exactly the same when you're using Macintosh terminal to execute this. Next, I'm going to.
Hello.
Yes.
With mine, if we did when we did the Conda update all, if it wasn't, if it didn't say it was all updated, what should we do with that? It came up with a bunch of stuff on my screen.
I just say no for now. Don't
Just
worry
say
about
no
it.
for now. Okay.
Yeah. You can do it later on. I just want you to
Okay.
make sure you understand. Update your Anaconda to the newest version is Conda update / all.
Okay.
Hyphen all. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
And now I'm going to. Okay. Conda install. I'm going to install a whole bunch of a library content in that requirement text file I just showed you. Okay. So current directory requirement, and using tab to auto finish, complete that. Everybody see what I'm doing? Okay. And then hit enter. Oops. Where is that? Sorry. Maybe I have a wrong. Just give me a second. Yeah, I typed something wrong. Oh, sorry, not Conda. Should be pip, since I'm using pip, install, and -r, which means I'm going to read in a file based on the, requirement.txt. So I'm using the pip to install all these software required. You see what happened? It will automatically check dependency and install the proper software specified in the requirement.txt file. So once you've done that, all the necessary software for the semester is already included under this environment. And you can isolate this environment from other classes or other project you are involving. So maybe the next project you have or next class you have, not necessary to using a whole bunch of machine learning library. So it is not efficient to install all these in that environment. So maybe it's running faster. So it takes a while to get it all done. See, it's all done. And then I'm going to go back right now to see the Anaconda development environment. Go to my environment. I'm going to refresh. Okay, as you can see here, now under this new environment I just created, it has a whole bunch more library was installed already. Make sense?
Dr. Wu, I'm just confirming that you are going to go over this again with Macintosh-based software.
Why? It's exactly the same.
I'm
Okay,
gonna be honest.
I'll figure it out.
I'm too
No,
terrified
next
to do
week I
any
will
of this
do it
on my
again.
own.
Huh?
I'm gonna be honest with you completely. I am much too terrified to do any of this on my own. So I'm going to go back and slowly watch the recording and beg anyone else in this
You're
class to
welcome
help
to.
me.
It is recorded. So don't panic. I know it's a little bit more involved, and that's why I talk about really slow in the class. You know, first create a new environment for yourself, and using the PIP install anything inside this requirement .txt file to install all the library. I can show you how to install each individual library by hand, but I think for my opinion is probably simpler. I just sent you this requirement.txt file, have everybody on the same version of the library and install on your development environment, so we don't have any issue when we run all these class example. All right, so you're an engineer, you should be able to handle this easily. Piece of cake, isn't it?
Dr. Wu, I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I was getting an error with that. I've checked it a few times. I don't see any issues, but it said that there's no file or directory.
Yeah, I had the same thing happening.
Yeah, the same thing happening for me too.
First, what is your current directory? Double check. All right. And also check if the requirement.txt file is in the same directory.
Are you talking just like the C drive, Dr. Wu?
Whatever C drive, whatever user directory it is, this requirement.txt file has to be the same directory of your current directory. So for me is C/user/chw, which is my home directory. All right.
If we have
Now,
that saved like on our desktop somewhere, could you show us how to like change the directory to that and then download it?
Oh, sure. I have it save it on desktop. So, for example, I'm going to not doing this, delete this. I'm going to CD the user CHW, so it should be desktop, right? And oh, sorry. Then you see that requirement.txt file also on the desktop. And now you also see my current directory changed to C:\users \chw, which is my username, \desktop. And I can execute the same thing. Make sense? You can, using the Window Explorer under your own directory. I can, not sure I can zoom in this. Oh, I can use bigger, large icon. And you see that desktop is one of the subdirectory inside my user folder. And under that folder, I have requirement.txt file. Question? So this directory, you're current running this command has to be the same directory where you have your requirement.txt file. Same thing for your Macintosh. Your Macintosh, when you run the this command prompt, the terminal, Macintosh is Unix based. So once you run the terminal, it should be your home directory by default. Any question? Wow, you're a senior in engineering. You should be very familiar with this already. Command prompt type of thing.
I have never had to do any of this in my life.
Well, you do now. You're an engineer by training.
Woohoo.
Engineering cannot just click a mouse and click the icon and to get your life done. You have to do something beyond that. All right. We're going to do the same thing next time for Macintosh using terminal. Need to remember all the command. All right. And I'm going to execute exactly the same command you have. Why don't we set up next Tuesday? Give us, for those Macintosh user, I will give you another 20, 30 minutes to show you how to do that. This is an important lecture, so please, once you set up, you're going to be set for the whole semester, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have a huge issue running all these. All right, once we have these all installed, for example, is it successful? I want you to go back to your Jupyter Notebook, okay? Add a couple blank space in front of that. So here, I want you to show you in Jupyter Notebook, if you everybody can go back to your Jupyter Notebook. Don't worry about it. Click on one of the cell over here. If you press the shortcut key A, that's alpha, it will insert a cell in front of that line. If you click on B, it will insert a blank cell after that line. Everybody see that? A or B. If you want, click on, if you press X as the extra X, it will delete that cell. Everybody okay? If you click on the cell, you can click C and V, it will copy and paste. It's like in the window, you have a Control C, Control V, but in Jupyter Notebook is C and V straight. Okay, we're going to talk about more in the next few lecture when we start talking about Python syntax and NumPy and all that. So please, again, I want you to finish the first 5 sections of the Python bootcamp, and the speaker actually using Jupyter Notebook throughout the entire class. So you probably should be able to understand a little bit. And of course, we're going to go over this for the entire semester using this. By the end of the semester, you're going to using Jupyter Notebook with your eye closed. All right. Question for me. Okay, if you have a glitches, please rewatch this short video. And actually, the installations process also is on the Python bootcamp, the second section talking about all that. All right, we spent more than 45 minutes. I hate to hold you too long. Any question? If not, we're going to conclude this class. Looks like everybody's happy.
So here on mine, it's still saying, like when I tried to do so how do I enter the file to where I get the requirements? So I saved it under my desktop and then I moved it to a different folder.
Just
so
your
do I have
home
to,
folder, user folder.
so just change it to a user folder?
Copy it to your user folder. It
Okay.
depends on which directory you're in.
So I'm in the command prompt, in the Anaconda prompt. I'm in the my MIS environment. And then
Which folder you're in. Here is the folder I have. It's on the desktop. You see this?
no, you're not sharing your screen anymore.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I tell you, it has to be the same folder as showing in the command prompt.
Okay, so I just need to move that to just the regular desktop part of it.
Whatever, either you move the file or you change using CD, like I do. CD change directory.
Okay, I'm gonna.
What I did, which I think might be easiest, is I just took the file and then just put it like, you go to like your C drive, users, whatever it's tagged as, and then just paste it in that, and then you can just do the thing.
That's I did in the first iteration. That's the easiest way.
Okay, so just put it in your C drive. Or wait.
User directory under your username.
Okay, under users, okay. Provide administration. Oh. Okay, let me try to. Oh.
I'm going to stop the recording, so Well, now I can.
When I try to move it, like, so you're saying like under the Windows, like parentheses C